to change attitude with Dashley.
Hello everyone, I'm Dashley and I welcome you to this week's episode of a-tetewithdaseny with Dashley. So if this is your first time on this podcast or on this channel, please subscribe, listen, like and share. So if you're ready, I am ready and I hope you will enjoy today's ride. Like I said last week's episode, we will be talking about children's imagination, and with me on a-tetewith today, I have a very special guest who I hold so dear to my heart. I would allow her to introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oluhitai Ojekere and I work with children.
All right, it's nice to have you on a-tetewith with Dashley.
Thank you for having me.
All right, moving straight to our topic of today. What is children's imagination, or what is imagination to your understanding?
Okay, so first for me, imagination is the same whether in adults or in children.
All right.
I see it as part of God that He gave to us, because God is a creator and God gave us creative ability. So for me, imagination is really the ability to see or hear something that you are not seeing or hearing with your physical senses. Well, children normally do it for play, but that is also what happens when we want to create something. So when you want to create a product that has never been, what you are actually doing, you are imagining. Well, the person that did Uber imagined that, this is possible. He was only seeing normal taxis that have a park and all, and he thought to himself, why don't I do this option? Whoever created an ATM thought about it and it's like, we don't have to be collecting money from the bank only. So yeah, I see imagination as part of God's creative ability that He gave us.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. So how does imagination help children to learn?
Okay, so imagination helps children to learn because it is usually through imagination that they experience whatever it is we are teaching them. While yes, in teaching, sometimes you're talking to children about something they've already experienced before, but they don't have a name for. Many times you are showing them something that they've never experienced before. Also, in Nigeria, you have the fact that yes, our education is not as well funded as schools outside the country. Yes, so what that means is for them, there are some things that they present to them and they show them this is what this is, but for us most times we have to paint a picture. Yes, you have to paint a picture for them, or show them something close to the real thing, a drawing or something, but they have to use imagination to fill up those gaps. So
I suffice to say that imagination helps children to understand a particular topic better.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right. So as a caregiver, I'm sure a lot of us will be wondering, how do we then help children to have a better imagination? As a caregiver, as a parent, as an uncle, as an auntie, because we have kids around us.
Yeah. Really, it's, in my opinion, to give them opportunities to either use their imagination or to experience the ideas of others. In experiencing the ideas of others, you have allowing them to read books, and to read books, to read wide. So for children, you have children's fiction, just basic stories. You have our native folk tales.
Yeah.
You have books that are facts.
Yes.
So you have books about maybe animals, books about cell phones, books about electricity and how they came to be. And some of these things you'll find, even for you as an adult, it's educative, because some of those things even you didn't know. And children love to be able to tell someone, did you know that? So yeah, so giving them books to read, educational shows. For me, one of the few advantages of cartoons, when of course you have to censor them, as you have to censor books too, but one of their advantages is that they expose children to experiences they wouldn't have had otherwise. So you find children watching cartoons and they experience something like snow. Very few of them have actually, seen snow before. You have just so many experiences. It is through these cartoons, through these books, that children could, for example, go into another country, completely different country, yes, or even the past, yes, and they can experience these things. Okay, so for art, I feel like this is a good time to say, when a child draws 2 circles and says that's my mommy, it's not a good time to say, how can this be your mommy?
Earlier you spoke about modeling like a child.
Okay, yes, so for me, in especially when a child has not been allowed to be free, sometimes you present a child with an experience. So for example, there was a time I took what I call an anything box to class. It's a box really that just has random things that I don't need and that are not harmful. So maybe you have an earring, like the pair is missing, you have empty cartons or counters, or those things we call counters that children love to play with. And I presented it to the children. I'm like, okay, you can do anything you want with it. And they're looking at me. Some of them are not sure what to do. Some of them feel, if I tear it, you should be angry, And then I model. I pick an earring. I show it off, I pick a box, I smell it, I play with it, I look, this looks like a car. And after that, I present it to the children and they run with it from there. So yes, you can model, and the modeling doesn't need you to spend 10 years there. You can just do a little and allow the child to be free.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Oloitai.
Thank you.
We look forward to having you more on our podcast.
Thank you so much.
All right, just a quick question. How has imagination helped you?
Wow.
As a person,
like I said, I believe this is creative. I connect it strongly to creative ability.
Okay.
So everything that I do, in fact, one of my best creative moments is when I can visualize before time what I want to do, and then I see what I saw in my mind. I see it in reality. It's a very awesome experience. It also helps me connect with children in teaching them because if I couldn't imagine, I can't show them, what I'm telling them to do. So those are 2 ways.
Thank you so much for having you here on this podcast. We look forward to having you more.
Thank you.
All right, there you have it. It's nice to just create that safe space for a child to express him or herself. Thanks for listening and take care. At what age were you introduced to politics? Join me next week as we discuss introducing politics to children.